you got to see this, and it's worth seeing in the movie theaters. And I'm trying to tell everybody that I know to go see it. And my roommate, or our friend Robert, he was like, "Oh, I guess I'll just wait until it comes out on streaming." I'm like, "Go see it in the theater,
Watch it now.
yeah, like I'm gonna
Ah, atomic breath. Ah.
like I was.
Nerd reactor, roll out.
What's up, everybody? John here, and I'm with special guest Mike. And of course, I have to have him on here because we're going to be doing a spoiler-filled review of Godzilla -1. So I was able to watch this during the Los Angeles premiere, and I was excited. And finally, you get to watch it during the IMAX, pretty much early screening. And your reaction is what I hoped to hear when I saw it, because if you've watched my review before, I said it's like the best, probably the best Godzilla film, or one of the best Godzilla films ever. And the more I think about it, I think this is going to be my go-to Godzilla film to just rewatch, just because it's so damn good. And Mike, I'm going to read your comment when you sent to me. Like, let's see here. You're saying, and I quote, "This was fucking amazing. I'm crying right now."
Yeah, I heard, obviously I heard from you and I heard from Mark about, how much you guys were praising this movie.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see it. I wanted to be in the theaters, and there was a good turnout for an early preview. Like, we had at least more than half of the auditorium was sold out for IMAX. So that's good.
Yeah.
And this is for, an indie movie. So like when I came up to the ticket usher, she's like, "Let me guess, Godzilla." And I was like, "Yeah." She's like,
I wouldn't say indie movie though. Toto's big.
Yeah. But I'm saying, compared to, like,
it's a small budget.
Yeah.
Small budget, like live action monster
budget,
movie.
Big heart, that's
big heart. $15 million here. 15, and there's like horror movies, like like Hollywood horror movies that cost more than that, and yet you're watching this, and you have the Godzilla, the post-war Japan, that whole setting in the past. So yeah, continue.
Yeah. So the lady, she said, "Obviously you're here to see Godzilla," and I was like, "What?" She's like, "Everybody's here to see Godzilla," and it's like. I live in Las Vegas, and like the theaters are all in the movie theater. So it's like, "Hey, you want to see a movie?" Like, sometimes there's nobody at the theaters. Like, I've been there where it's just like me and like.
Wait, you said the theater is in the movie theater?
What is that? Sorry. I said sorry. The theater is in the casino.
Like,
okay. It's in the casino. Yeah. So like, you can go to the food court, or you can gamble, or you can bowl. Also, there's a movie theater. Like, that's like every casino has that. And so sometimes some theaters are just not as popular, or as they don't get a lot of traffic. So it was really cool to see. Yeah, and it's like it's kind of hard to get into. You actually have to walk into the casino, go around certain areas to get to where the theater is at. It's kind of a hassle. But I wanted to see this in IMAX. I knew that this was going to be one of the showings in IMAX, and yeah, I was just blown away. I thought it was, like you said, it's got to be the best Godzilla movie that's out there.
So the best Godzilla movie ever.
The best Godzilla movie ever. I think this is the best Godzilla movie to date. I cried multiple times. It's such a hard movie to watch, like, as far as like it pulls on your heartstrings because you feel for the characters.
Yeah.
And like one of the things you said, you're like, they actually make the characters matter, because most of the time it's always like some sort of classic Godzilla movies. It's espionage. It's it's like it's part James Bond, it's part sci-fi movie. And and so the characters do something weird.
Yeah, because the first movie, it's very much about like the themes about how nuclear weapons are bad, and just Godzilla being a bad guy, and then the people they fear for this. Like, what do we do? And then as the Godzilla series goes on, it gets hokey. You have like they're cool. Like, let's say Ghidorah, he's cool, 3 heads, but he's from outer space, made by aliens. And then you got Mecha Godzilla, and then Godzilla fighting King Kong, and then King Kong shoves the tree. So like, I still have fun with them, but it wasn't like the serious drama that happens to have Godzilla like in the first movie, but also Godzilla -1, this one. And even in, let's say, the MonsterVerse, the legendary films, like it's cool. Like, it's epic. The special effects are great. Getting to see Godzilla smash buildings, awesome. The human stories, could use a lot of work. And like, I still like the humans in Godzilla versus Kong. They're just fun for me, but it's not nothing more like it's serious and not like Godzilla -1, where
it's so much more grounded, and like you're in the middle, like literally from like the beginning, you're kind of like punched in the gut as far as like where people are at. The main character, I can't remember his name. What's his name?
His name is the actor is Ryunosuke Kamiki, and he plays Koichi Shikishima.
I always remember Shikishima because that's how they refer to him. Okay.
Yeah.
So main character Shikishima, he is a kamikaze pilot, and he comes to this island, and they're like, what's going on? And he's like, oh yeah, something's wrong with something was wrong with my plane or whatever. And then like they kind of figure out like, oh, you chickened out, like you're supposed to be a kamikaze pilot, and you didn't kill yourself, and like
yeah.
And then
so it's just crazy during that time. Yeah. Like I had to think about it, like, oh wow, like how do they know that he's a kamikaze pilot, but that he chickened out? Because apparently, you have to, once you're a kamikaze pilot, you have to commit and kill yourself for your country, for Japan. And so it's just kind of a crazy concept now, because like, you don't have to do that. You can just fight. You can retreat and fight another day. And here they're calling him a chicken. So like, whoa, how did they know that? But that's how it was like back then.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy, like the way they kind of connected this, because I mean, obviously they're going off some of the real stuff that that happened in real life, and Japan was definitely like they're massively affected by World War II, and you could see that emotionally and physically, like they're buildings just gone, people just missing, nobody can find some of these people. Like, it's just like a lot of like what you call metaphors with like the atomic bomb and stuff. But I mean, this character, you're just like, oh wow, like, and then like it's not even that, like it just keeps going, because then right after that is when we get the first introduction into this new Godzilla, right? I mean, it's his own like version. Like he is smaller in the first time you see him. Like I was kind of trippy to see that.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be deep diving smaller. Spoilers. Tune away if you don't want to be spoiled. But yeah, he's smaller, and later on, like the third act, he gets bigger. And just like the setup, because you see how Japan is, like, it's just torn by World War II. And then now with the rise of Godzilla, you're like, oh man, I got to deal with this guy. So like, they're already down, and you're going to knock them even more down with the king of the kaiju. So, this one, when you first see him, right? Like, they show him. They're not trying to hide it. Like in, it was Gareth's Godzilla, where it's like, you tease, let's close the door. Oh, where did Godzilla go? No, let's show him the whole thing, and terrorizing these guys, these mechanics, right? And then you see Shikishima just on the plane, and he just freezes, doesn't do anything, and then Godzilla just wipes the floor with everyone except for him. And it's just like, wow, this guy, not only did he not do his job as a kamikaze pilot, but he chickened out here. But I don't think, because we know it's Godzilla, so anything he's gonna do is not gonna affect Godzilla. So he's gonna die anyway. Everyone else is gonna die anyway. So might as well have him survive to live to fight another day.
Yeah, that scene, like it felt it reminded me of watching the T-Rex scene in the first Jurassic Park movie, where like he first comes out and it's like, what are you doing? Like I mean, like the whole audience was just like tense, because it's like you can't do anything. And then the fact that they try to do something is like the worst idea. And so you just wait. I was waiting for the first person to shoot, because as soon as somebody was going to shoot, you knew it was
they're going to die. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, it was over. And then as soon as that one guy, like, boom, and he shoots, and you're like, it's over. All these people are dead.
Yeah. And then, so like, after that, right? Like, you see this, the town, like after this whole ordeal, you get to see see these characters just living life, and then this whole story of this girl who has this kid, the daughter, which you think is the daughter, and then it becomes like a family, kind of like a. It just happens, and then they just become closer. They take care of each other, and like that part, like I like seeing that, just the humanity, and then it just gives Shikishima just like something worthwhile to do, to live for, because without
Purpose.
that, yeah, he wouldn't have purpose. And
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it reminded me of Tokyo Godfathers, which is an anime that me and you watched many years ago, where it's a group of hobos and they come across a baby on like Christmas. It's Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Tokyo Godfathers, yeah.
Yeah. And then you're just like, they're like, what do we do? Like, well, we can't just let the baby go. But obviously this is different, but it was just, that kind of like, they're not family, but they have to be kind of, because the circumstances are so extreme. There's literally nothing left, and like the best thing they could do is to stick together. Like even like the neighbor who's the first time she sees Fukushima, uh she's pissed at him because she knows that he's supposed to be dead. He's supposed to be he should have killed himself as a kamikaze pilot. And eventually she warms up to him, and eventually like she becomes kind of part of the tribe, I guess you want to say. Like she has her own invested interest. Yeah, even though like, yeah, he did this thing, he's trying to do something, everybody's really needs to lean on each other in order to get through this like major catastrophe that just like wiped out majority of the people that were living there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, like just the mindset of the people. Like everyone's so mad. Like the people on the other the island was mad at him for being a bad kamikaze, and then the neighbor was mad at him. So it's like that mindset that lets you know, like, hey, this was like Japan back then, where like if you're not gonna commit, people are gonna be upset. Like, oh, you're a kamikaze pilot and you didn't kill yourself, so people's gonna be mad at you. But then there's like a shift in the movie later on where it's like, you know what? Why are we so mad? And everyone that is hating on the main character is like slowly starts to change, because like they start to figure out like, why are we doing this? Because of the government? Is the government telling us to? Or now it's like, now we can just live and just change our way of life. And so I think that's another good message for the film.
Yeah, it definitely has kind of its own story as far as like, the nuclear part's kind of part of it, but it's more the imperialism, I guess you could say, like imperialistic Japan, where they like everything is all about Japan and Japan first, and like even before yourself, you literally you're giving your life to your country, and that's like a lot of the theme that keeps coming up. Like, I want to fight for my country, and then like I think by the end it just like, no, I want to fight with you guys because we're brothers, we're friends, or we're all that we have left. And so, but that's definitely a very strong message that's in the movie. There's still obviously that the nuclear thing, like what the horrors of nuclear power. And I mean, obviously Japan has felt that pretty recently with the whole Fukushima debacle, the plant exploding, and people obviously the radiation leak and all that, and the government wasn't really telling them certain things. But I mean, there's a lot of layers, John. It's like an onion.
It's an onion.
You keep pulling back, and there's just more layers. Okay.
Yeah. And so the other characters, like the others that just help him out, Shikishima, like they're all likable too. Like the smart one of the bunch, the genius, like I love his crazy like Albert Einstein like hair.
Yeah, like it was very anime-ish. Can I say that? Like it felt like I was watching an anime, like a live action anime. Yeah, it was but it was good. Like
it's done well. Like it's like this is like a live action anime. I like it. Yeah.
And like you're the smart guy. The taller guy was like the older brother guy. Like like he's like, yeah, come on guys, like like. And I forgot his name, but I mean, his character is basically he's the older brother. He's like the tallest of the group, and then you have like the little one was the kid. He's the younger one, And yeah, and then you have, the bleeding heart, which is Shukishima. And he's the main character. He's not really necessarily the leader, but like he's
Yeah.
just part of the team.
He's the focal point, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just them together is just interesting and fun and engaging to watch their journey trying to deal with Godzilla. And like you're rooting for them, and then you're also rooting for Godzilla because Godzilla is just a cool monster. And so when he first goes to the city and starts attacking, like the city, the city that they're in, it's devastating. And we got to talk about the atomic breath that he shoots out, and then it becomes like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
like, that's whoa. Whoa.
Well, like this crazy thing was like the first time he does it, he's underwater, and like it's still like it wasn't nearly as crazy as when he's actually in the series, but it's like it was just enough where it's like, and then boom, the boat exploded, and like everybody in the theater was just like, whoa, like every time, like each impact, each explosion, it means something, and like you could feel it. You could feel,
and then
his the size
fins.
of him.
The fins when he's like charging up, it starts like just it's weird transformation is awesome. I was like, wow, watch out for this guy. So I love like there's so many cool renditions of how they do the Godzilla stuff. Like even like the Monster Verse where it just slowly like just lights up like, and then this one is just like the crackling of the fins, and then he starts shooting. So it's all Godzilla. What a beast! He's a beast.
I have to say, I also so. I also like there's a couple of shots of him. I know you don't like the movie. It's not my favorite Godzilla
Which one?
movie, but Shin
Godzilla. I know a lot of people like it, but I'm not a fan of Shin Godzilla. Like I get the message what they're trying to do with the government of Japan and how they're slow to react. Yeah. But it's slow. Like it's like watching paint dry. Like I get why paint is drying, but I don't want to watch a movie about that.
Yeah.
Unless there's an interesting lead character that's watching the paint dry, I'll watch that.
So there was definitely a couple shots that I felt like they took as far as like an homage to Shin Godzilla. I mean, I guess it's just as Godzilla as a whole though, because there was those shots where you could see him like, and it was during the broad daylight where he's not even focusing on anything. He's just walking. And you're just like, we don't mean shit to him, you know what I mean? Kind of like we're nothing. He is a god, like, and like he's just like brightly lit, and he's like not looking really at anything. He's just walking, and I was just like, damn, like he's imposing, and it's that, and then like when you said that first time he started like breaking some of the buildings, he's like, tail whip, and then he does
the tail whip,
you see his tail like cut across the sky, and you're like, oh shit, like and then he walks right by the people that are filming. Remember the news cameras,
the reporters,
the reporters are watching. He's not even at all interested in what they are doing and who they are, and he still die from him just because he accidentally rubbed up against the building, or he shattered the foundation, and then they come tumbling down, and we never see them again because they're like
Yeah, it's crazy, like how they're just right there in on the action. I'm like, just step back. You're too close. Like you're probably gonna die. And I love the part where, let's say he's chasing after Shikishima, like on the boat, and like he's just going back and forth, and just his eyes are so scary in this. Like let's say like other Godzilla, like the newer stuff, like he's got cooler eyes, like let's say the Monsterverse, his eyes are cool. And then in the recent Godzilla, like the Toho stuff, like he's got friendly eyes. This one, it's like it's staring at you, and it's scary and creepy. I'm like, I don't want to be around that.
I remember this is something, not to try to get off track, but did you ever finally watch Jaws?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember there was that one point where I told you, I was like, this is like Jaws. And you're like, I've never watched Jaws. I'm like, what? Like,
I watched it during the pandemic, and it was very fitting with how, like in Jaws, the people, how they react. Like, oh, it's just a shark, or there's no shark, nothing to worry about. And it reminds me of like pandemic, like, oh, there's like we can still go outside, whatever. And so there's like some parallels there. And so I did enjoy Jaws.
Yeah. So, but like, obviously, you see the similarities. There's obviously some, inspiration. I like what they did with it though, as far as like the boat and him chasing the boat, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, and then he, like you're saying, like when he's coming after them, it's like it's so intense, and you're just like, oh my god, and they're trying to like, this isn't even like um Toho, kid friendly Godzilla, where at least like they have like all the like the crazy contraptions, like they have like the laser
Mm-hmm.
tanks, and they have those fences that are electrified that he always has to like kind of walk through. Like they got
Yeah.
nothing. They have mines and like
Yeah.
stereotypical World War II weaponry, and they're trying to defeat this giant basically dragon that can regenerate, and it's just like it's just crazy. And that whole scene is like super intense, and you're just like, run.
Oh yeah, that and let's see another thing. Yeah, just the cool stuff that Godzilla can do in here. Like, let's say he gets hurt. You find out like, oh, he gets hurt from the inside, but then he heals up, and like that's a cool, like he's got like the healing factor like Wolverine.
Yeah.
You see that just reshape.
So
Like,
yeah, go ahead.
no, just like anything else that you liked about like this version of Godzilla.
So okay, I cut you off about the atomic breath. The final time he uses it out of the water.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting that, because I thought he was
Mm-hmm.
just, most of the time you see the breath, it's just a ray, like it's
Yeah.
fire more than anything. This was like an atomic bomb in itself.
Yeah.
Like that, like it literally, and then like, and the explosion, and then okay, here comes the shockwave, and like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
that was just insane. Like I was just like, oh my god, like
How are people gonna survive this? Godzilla is a force to be reckoned with, and it kind of reminds me a little bit with what is it? Jango Fett, his what is it? The seismic charges in
oh
the prequels,
yeah.
where he just shoots it off and it boom.
Yeah. Yeah, that was insane. I remember just being like in total awe of that, like, because like obviously it's cool just to see him charge it up. I cried the first time he charged up in the Gareth Edwards movie, just
Yeah.
because it, we didn't have him do the atomic breath in the Matthew Broderick version.
Yeah.
He
Let's
a
never
car
talk about that.
a car exploded and he was breathing. That's not the atomic breath, but but the when he go womp 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 womp, like I remember the whole audience just like, oh shit, like, oh my god, like, and it was cool to see it, not only just to see it like at the screening, but then to see it like opening night with
With
more
fans.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
with fans, and they were just like, yeah, like like the see him do the breath, and like obviously it keeps going up from there, but that this is just like, it was so dramatic, and it was such a like, it was so sudden, and then it was just like it's too late, like everybody's gonna be dead.
Yeah. It's and then let's say the partner Shikishima's partner, right? Like she's there, and
What's her name?
her name is Noriko Oishi.
Okay,
So Noriko.
Noriko.
So
Noriko.
Noriko and Shikishima. So Noriko was there.
Shikishima. Right.
And like she was like saved by him first, right?
Yeah.
And then later on he saves her. Oh no. He saves her and then she saves him. And so she
Yeah.
pushes him into the alley, and then the aftermath, the shockwave gets her, and then she like blows away, and you think, she's dead, because
Yeah.
Shikishima comes out, he's the only one there, and he's just devastated.
Yeah.
And so that like just more of like just caring about the human characters, and just if you take away Godzilla out of this, I think it's still a solid movie. Like you can substitute Godzilla with like just a natural disaster movie, and it'll
Yes.
still be like a good movie. But
Well,
since it has Godzilla, it's just times 100.
yeah, that's the thing. Like that's what he's kind of supposed to be. He's kind of a force of nature. Like he's not really evil. He's not really good, and that's kind of why he's just like, uh, which is kind of the play on the whole nuclear power. Like it's not, nuclear power itself it's not inherently evil, it's not inherently good, it's just something that's there. It's just the way that we use it that,
Yeah.
it becomes bad, or it becomes, or I don't know if it becomes good, but but that's kind of like the message or whatever. But yeah, him, doing that, and then I lost my train of thought.
But something about the just the natural disasters and Godzilla.
Oh yeah. So yeah, so yeah, the natural disasters and him, and the whole, like, you compile that with the story about the imperialistic Japan, and then the whole, like, mental health side as well, was just like, you're just getting layer after layer. And yeah, it just hits, everything hits. And like, the music is amazing. Like, they knew when to introduce, you know the classic score for Godzilla into this movie, like, at the right
Yeah.
time. Like, it was nothing,
Yeah.
like, there was no, song with Puff Daddy.
What?
Remember the Jimmy Page song, Come With Me? Uh-huh. Yeah. That was for the Matthew Broderick movie. Like, I
Oh.
remember that was the time when,
And then they had even Godzilla versus Kong, the trailer had a rock music.
yeah.
I forgot what it was, but I'm like, I guess it's kind of trying to pump you up, like it's like a wrestling event, like a pay-per-view event. But I think it was too corny with that. But I don't know, I guess. But yeah, this one is not that. There's like no, it's just the music, the theme, and just a regular, like, just dramatic score. And then you hear dun, 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 dun. And then later on, when you're feeling for the humans again, because my theater, when I was watching it, the first half, people were rooting for Godzilla, like that. Whenever he does the first the atomic breath, and then later on the atomic breath in the city, people are like, "Whoa, yeah, kill the humans!" and then later on, you start hearing the theme again, like the other theme, like dun 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 dun, dun with the human side. So now you're rooting for the humans, and so the audience in my theater, you're rooting for the humans. Now, all right, man, kill Godzilla. Stark contrast from rooting for Godzilla to rooting for the humans, and this the crowd it's crazy. I love this crowd. It's like that's how I felt. Like, I'm rooting for Godzilla. I'm rooting for the humans. Who should win, And I don't know, what was it like for your experience, for you personally, and for your crowd?
I think the crowd, actually, I don't think they were really picking a side. I think the majority of the people that were in my group were a little older, even older than me. Honestly, just like bad looking. I took a couple pictures.
Were they there when the first Godzilla came out?
I don't know. It was kind of weird. I was like, I think I may have been the only Mexican guy in the crowd. I could be wrong. It also depends on, like, this is the older, side of the strip. Like, there's like a AMC that's out at the mall that, I think I probably would have seen a lot more younger people. This is a little bit away. It's, like I said, it's in a casino. So
is it because it's IMAX?
I don't know, maybe. But I mean, there's still a good turnout. So, like, no matter what, like, these people, whether they're Godzilla fans, or maybe they just saw the trailer and was like, this is worth seeing. And they came out, and it was really nice to see that, like, especially now with the whole, like, I mean, we don't have to get into this, but, like, the whole Christopher Nolan, like, physical media, and David Zaslav and all that. Like, go see these movies. Like, if there's something you really want to see, like, go out and see it in theaters. It really helps. And I hope this movie does really well. I mean, it's got a small budget. It can do, like, we've seen it with other movies, with smaller movies. It'll do gangbusters. Like, Talk to Me was a huge success. Even Five Nights at Freddy's, huge success, small budget. It's just got to have all those intangibles. Like, you got to have good characters, you have a good story, and obviously Godzilla's there. That helps. But, like, to be able to deliver it home the way that the director did, I mean, you got to talk to him, but, like, the way he was able to do that with everything, and while still doing a Godzilla movie, I thought it was amazing.
Oh yeah, and there's so much stuff. Let's talk about just the third act, right? And just there's so much happening, like with the guy that doesn't like him, the mechanic that doesn't like him, and this whole message about whether it's like, oh, the thing they talk about, the parachutes, like, does it have a safety feature? And I love how they kind of like talk about that at the beginning, like there's no point in having that, and then later on, like, spoiler alert, uh, he parachutes down, like he goes inside Godzilla's mouth. Well, and before that, he shoots himself off, and helps save the day. And then you're like happy, like I was excited, like, oh, he's alive.
Yeah, like that whole scene where they're like, everybody gets in the boardroom. Like, yes, I've seen this scene a million times. Multiple Godzilla movies do this scene where everybody's like, all right, everybody stand up. This is what's happening. This is what we're gonna do. It may work, it may not. We're gonna do this, and you're like, okay, yes, all right. Rally the troops together. Like everybody's like.
And what I love about those scenes is that, like, everyone, because this is like after World War II, so it's like during a time where they have no military. Yeah. And so how are you going to defeat Godzilla with no military? And these are just civilians. And so civilians are joining up for the fight, and people that used to fight for the war, they're here. And also companies, like companies are joining in on the fight. Like, what can I do to help stop Godzilla? and so that's cool. Like, oh, we have this contraption for our company. Like, this should work, this balloon thing, and to sink down Godzilla and then have him rise up again. And it's just all these ingenuity. I was like, this is cool. Like, Takashi, the director, because he's the director, he's the screenwriter, and he's also the VFX supervisor. So he's like a man of many hats in this.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so for him to write something and come up with these ideas, like, props to him. This guy is a genius.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I hope, he does very well after this, because the story, all the stuff.
Oh no, he's been doing well. He's done a lot of Japanese movies. Okay. He's done like the Lupin the Third animated movie, and he did The Returner with is it Takeshi Kaneshiro? Is that his name for Returner? Also Onimusha. The face for Onimusha. So Returner, I like that movie. And so he's done a lot of movies, but this one I think might be like his most. It has to be like his most popular movie for like the global audience now, because he's working on a Godzilla project, and Godzilla is a global phenomenon. And you're excited watching it, like you went to watch it on IMAX on like the early screening, and so I hope like Friday when it comes out, like the regular day, like everyone's gonna be joining, and then maybe it'll be the #1 movie in America. I hope so.
I hope so, because I think it deserves it. And there used to be, when we were younger, you used to see a lot more where like I'm going to say indie movie, but like even like, I mean, international, you remember Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like that's kind of not, it's obviously not the same movie, but it's like, it's a small budget. It's an international film. It's subtitled, and like it did amazing at the box office, like people came to see. I remember, because we were still working. Me and John, we used to work at AMC. We were still or at least I don't know if you were still working there or if I was still working. I can't remember. But I remember people walking out because they didn't want to read the subtitles, because they're like, I don't want to see this subtitles. Like, I'm not gonna read, and then just walked out of the theater, walked right out the movie theater.
No, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. But now I think times are different now, because Squid Game. One of the top Netflix shows ever, and you have everyone watching this show, like a whole show, subtitles. Like you got your whole different generations, your moms, your dads, your grandfather, your grandmother. Kids shouldn't be watching this, but people are watching that. And then now you have the Squid Game, the challenge. Like, they made a reality TV show out of that show, so it's like a popular thing out of like a South Korea show. So I'm pretty sure like now people are okay with reading subtitles, especially with Godzilla. Someone asked me that on one of the reviews, like, oh, is this going to be in Japanese? Like, do you think it's going to be like an English dub? I'm like, it's just subtitles. Just watch it. Just watch the original dialogue with the performances. You want to see the original performances from these actors, which is great. Like, it's just, I wouldn't have it any other way. And then also it's just like the subtitles, you really feel for the Japanese characters during post-war Japan. So that's just, you get everything out of that.
Yeah, I don't think I would have watched it dubbed. I don't watch anime dubbed unless it's a really good cast for anime. Then maybe I'll watch it dubbed. But yeah, you got to see this, and it's worth seeing in the movie theaters. And I'm trying to tell everybody that I know to go see it. And my roommate or our friend Robert, he was like, "Oh, I guess I'll just wait until it comes out on streaming." I'm like, "Go see it in the theater,
watch it now."
Yeah, like I'm gonna
atomic breath.
Like I was like, I'm gonna grab Narvin. I'm like, me and you, we're gonna go see this. Like, people need to go and see these movies so that way the producers and the studios will go, oh, you guys want more of these movies. Like, yeah, it's a Godzilla movie, but it's also, there's a good story here. There's compelling characters. Oh, I thought you just wanted, popcorn movies. We could just do, you could do another Terminator, or not Terminator, but another Transformers. We could do like, and I like spectacle. Like, I mean, obviously you look at it and you're like, oh, CG, wow, but there's something about like this movie. I don't know if we can get into a whole thing about like superhero movies and superhero fatigue. It's like you're just missing something, missing like some sort of like grounded like reason to do this, and that's what you get out of the story. Like all these characters, they're in a really bad situation, and they're trying to get by and proceed on in life while this giant natural disaster just keeps coming back. like it's not going away. It goes away and then it comes back, and it's like we just want to live. Like we're still trying to pick up the pieces from World War II, and you just keep coming back and like pounding us into the ground.
No, I definitely want to rewatch the movie again, and just like the message. The movie is so deep too with this message, and also the commentary on life, what life was like back in the day in Japan, and the transition from just that whole serving your country no matter what, like killing yourself, to now maybe life is worth more. And it's like not, your life isn't expendable anymore. So you're like a person now. You get to just think and do things what you want to do, and then live life to take care of your family, and just helping each other out. And so everyone's coming together instead of hating each other. And I think it's got a great message.
Yeah, the whole mental health kind of aspect of it, and he's his name again. Shikishima, and then what's the daughter's name? Akio. And obviously the wife. Like that's a real life thing. Like, I mean, obviously he didn't base it off of person, but I remember watching like History Channel or whatever documentaries where they're like life after Hiroshima, and that's like, people just, there's a child. What do we do? Like, well, somebody's got to take care of the kid, and then they just raised him as their own, because I mean, what else are we gonna do? They're just gonna let the kid die and just stay in the streets? They people had to really lean on each other in order to get out of that whole catastrophe and the fallout of the Hiroshima bombs and World War II. But I thought amazing message, great movie. Pulled on my heartstrings multiple times, and by the end I was just like, it kind of got a weird reaction in the theater by one person said, like, audibly out loud, he's like, well, that's just not fair. Like, when you find out that the wife is still alive, they're like, oh,
how's that not fair? That's
I don't know.
Not fair would be her being dead. Then people would say that's not fair.
Not fair. So he's been him killing himself, she being dead, and then now the daughter's like even more messed up, because it's bad enough that she's adopted, she doesn't have a really original family, and then now the people that she thought were going to be her mother and father are gone. So it's still a good ending in the end. Like I'm a little I'm a little messed up. I'm a little masochistic. Sometimes I like bittersweet endings, but I was like, what? I'm happy. They're
depends
back
on the
together.
movie.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you're watching Hereditary. Like, yeah, let's have that bad ending. And I know like the cinema score for that one's like pretty bad, like D. So a lot of the audience did not like that movie, but I enjoyed that for a one-time watch. But yeah, this one, I like the happy ending. Just because it makes sense for the message of the movie about actually, like how life is important now as an individual. And doing what it takes to, instead of just sacrificing yourself, you can survive, but also complete the mission.
Yeah, don't give up your life just for Tokyo, or not Tokyo, I mean Japan.
For Japan,
like it's better for you to live for the people that are in your life. He's live for, he's gonna live for his daughter, he's gonna live for his wife that's luckily still alive, and they're gonna be a tight-knit family, hopefully, from here on out. And that's going to be their mission going forward. But yeah, beautiful ending.
Oh yeah. And then Godzilla, the third act, everyone comes together to help defeat Godzilla, and he's defeated, or is he? Because yeah, because he gets pretty much what is it, blown up, whatever it is, and like it starts forming in the ocean, like, oh, he's back.
He's gonna come back as that weird lizard thing from Shin Godzilla. The one without, he has like no arms at one point.
It's like he's got like a lizard. He's like a lizard, like just moving around. Like, this is so weird.
Yeah, I saw that trailer and I was like, oh, that must be like another kaiju. Oh no, that's Godzilla. I had no idea.
But if you like Shin Godzilla, that's fine. But this one tops. I think this is way better than Shin Godzilla. This is like up there. I'll say this is the best.
Yeah, I think this is the better movie out of everything that's available right now. Even, Gareth Edwards said, I wish I told this story, or I wish I did this version, because I mean, he still did a good job in, doing what he had to do, coming from the roots that he came from. Like, I have nothing really bad to say about the movie other than like the characters, but I would still watch it. I've watched it with family, I've watched it with friends. I don't think it was like, oh, you son of a bitch, Gareth Evans.
Yeah.
But
the first the MonsterVerse movie could have been a lot better, because they killed off Bryan Cranston, like the best character in the whole movie, and then you have everyone else that's just like I love Aaron Taylor and Elizabeth, but their characters are bland.
Okay, this kind of goes into something else I wanted to talk to you about. There's been there's always discourse online, and it's always on Twitter. Everywhere you want to get like all the hot takes and all the people just constantly going back and forth. You go on Twitter. And that's where it's at. That's where the battles are won, John. All right. I'm in there. I'm in there in the trenches. Okay.
Yeah.
But people are like, they're obviously, this is a great movie. Nothing to take away from this movie. And
Whoa, what? Whoa, what are you headed with this?
Oh, hold on. No, it has nothing to do with that. But like, obviously, this is coming out, and then also you have Monarch Files that's coming out.
Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I've watched half of it already. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I like the show, but I mean, this is just like,
I can't stand the characters.
Wait, like the main girl,
the young generation.
Yes, I don't like the main character. The only person I care about is Kurt Russell
in the past. Kurt Russell, but then also the past characters where like in the 50s, and just them just working together, like the past. Like, this is cool. I want to see where this goes. Like, just focus on that.
Yeah, I really didn't care at all for the modern story. Obviously, it was cool to see the attack on San Francisco from another point of view.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, the story was just not that interesting. And then like, she's just angry. He's just angry.
Everyone's angry. And then I don't know how many, because I was able to watch the just early screeners. So
I'm only on the third episode.
Yeah. So like, the more I watch, like, they didn't get better. So I imagine it better not be like at the very end, the very last episode, like, you know what? Why are we fighting? Let's join together. So that means the majority of the whole time they just hate on each other, and it's just annoying. Like
what happened?
Like here with this movie, Godzilla -1, right? Like, you have certain characters hating on him, but it's understandable. Like the way they did it, the way they set things up, you're like, yeah, he did this, he did this. I understand why they hate him, but in Monarch, it's like you're on a mission together. Like, why are you hating now? Now's not the time. See, they're doing it at a time where it's not conducive to their adventures. Like let's say when the neighbor is hating on him, it's like a downtime where they're just neighbors. But it's not like, imagine if they're like hating on each other while they're at the third act trying to fight Godzilla. Like, no, stop it.
Like, this is not the time we should be talking about this. You know, like,
and they keep doing that throughout the whole thing in the show. So, but yeah, I don't want to talk more about the show. But yeah, back to Godzilla -1.
But no, that was one thing I wanted to ask you was like, I mean, obviously, I think these two things can coexist. I mean, if you want to get, the serious side, you can get this out of -1. If you still like kind of the hokey side, there's always going to be the MonsterVerse, and they just released a new teaser today. You can see the image that's going to be, what is his name? Sharking is the name of the orangutan. I think it's orangutan, right? That you see in the chair.
I didn't get to see it yet.
Okay. So, but you remember that there was that teaser where he's in a throne, kind of like Black Adam, and then you see the skull
was it Kong though, or is it someone else?
No, it's not Kong. It's
another ape. Yeah, like skinnier looking, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like red hair, kind of, and like I'm guessing that's going to be the big bad. But I mean, I'm still interested in to see that movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't think it's going to compare to this. I mean, hopefully, like you said, like they get some sort of inspiration. But I mean, I honestly think this could be an Oscar winner this year.
I hope so. I hope so. At the very least, it should be nominated for something like Best International Picture, or like I'll vote because I'm like in a guild too for the movies, and usually what we pick, it's almost gonna have the Oscars follow suit. Like we voted because for our guild, for our award show, the movie award show, we voted for Everything Everywhere All at Once as Best Picture with actors like Ke Huy Quan and Michelle Yeoh, and so the Oscars followed suit with that. So if this, like, I'm gonna be voting for Godzilla -1, like Best Picture, best screenplay, Best Actor.
Oh my God! Imagine freaking Christopher Nolan loses an Oscar to Godzilla -1. How freaking crazy would that be? I don't think it's going to happen just because there's a whole process that goes into that as far as like campaigning and like you have to what is it? Like you have to like not shop it around, but there's a whole process. Yeah.
But yeah, the studios shop it around. Like they're trying to really push like, hey, like here's a Oppenheimer, and here's this movie, and here's this movie. But you can still vote for, like me, I can still try to be the outlier and vote for, like, if it's not on the list and I really like Godzilla -1, I'm going to put that on the list. I might be like one vote of like
you are the -1.
I'm the -1.
But no, like I think I'm not kidding you. Like out of all the movies, I mean, you see more movies than me, I think at this point, but out of everything you've seen this year, I think this is the best thing I've seen, honestly.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is the best. I'm gonna say it right now. This is my favorite Godzilla movie.
Yeah,
my favorite, probably like the best Godzilla movie ever, and it's up there. But there's a lot of good movies this year because that's up there. Wonka's here somewhere. And then what else came out? Like, Oppenheimer came out. I know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhems like mixed. Like some people don't like the aesthetic, but I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. And I'm a super fan of the old school 90s live action Ninja Turtles and also like the cartoon stuff too. But I still enjoyed that because it still pays homage. And then you also have Across the Spider-Verse. That's awesome. And
that was good.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I love that. So that was this year, right? Guardians 3?
Yes, that was this year.
There's so much.
We saw that.
So much happening. And across there's a lot of good movies. So, but yeah, Godzilla, definitely up there. -1.
Go see this. It's literally the best movie as far as like Godzilla. And I think this, at least for me, from the movies I've seen this year, I've seen not a lot, but I mean, I've seen a good amount. And I think this is the best movie, like hands down. Like, it's weird to say that because it's a Godzilla movie, but it's true. Because, like you said, you take out the people, it's still a great movie. I mean, not the people.
Take out the people. Take out the people. Take out Godzilla.
You take out the people, you got Godzilla. It's still a great movie. But you take out Godzilla, it's still a great movie just on the people alone and just on the characters and just on the stuff that they go through and like the way that the characters have their own arcs. But yeah, please go see this movie. If you're thinking about it, you're interested, or you're like, oh, I like Godzilla, like go see this movie, because these movies need the amount of exposure, and they need people to go into theaters and pay money to go and watch it.
Yeah, I'm predicting, like, okay, let's say once people, like, because you watched it today, and then more people's going to watch it Friday, word of mouth is going to spread like the atomic breath,
I see what you did there, John.
Yeah.
Wow, like
that.
Like how was it?
It's gonna be the movie's amazing. So yeah, more people to watch this, and maybe a sequel to this. Who knows? But I like it as is. Like, that's it. Like, if it's just one movie, that's fine. I'm actually, sequel. Well, it's Godzilla, so people's gonna want to watch more Godzilla. It's a whole franchise. Toho's making money, so
you know what? It's we gotta get the Shin Godzilla 2 movie first.
Okay.
He's still frozen. He's got all those lasers.
So Shin Godzilla versus Godzilla -1 Godzilla. Bam. So maybe I'll watch that too. And then you're just gonna like reform and just heal each other up. So. But yeah, those are our thoughts for Godzilla -1 spoilerific review. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe. With that said, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.